Welcome back to Give Me Five with Jones and Eli. Eli, traditionally the sequels are never as good as the originals. But what movies that came second lived up to the hype?
Sequels. Are we talking sequels and also prequels? So if the prequel came second, that counts as a
No,
sequel?
right. If it was I don't care where it was chronologically set. If it was the second movie in a series, I consider it the sequel.
Got it. I think a lot of people here are going to go Godfather 2. I think it's a pretty popular answer. People say Godfather 1 and Godfather 2 are both some of the greatest movies of all time. I have to agree with that. But I'm saying Godfather 1's better. For me, the best sequel of all time, Jones, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Batman Begins, it's a good movie, but The Dark Knight is one of the best of all time. It's way better.
I gotta say, I think the Dark Knight's obviously one of the best movies of all time, but I think it gets even more hype because I think Batman Begins with some hot ass. Like, no offense, I know that's gonna offend some people out there. They're gonna say, "Oh, it's the origin story. It's Nolan filmed it so beautifully on some fancy camcorders." Man, that shit was so boring for so long. I don't need to see Batman like training and it was just graphic what he went through with his parents. Like, you can do that in one little shot, and we don't have to see the whole nitty gritty. I didn't really like that part. Batman, obviously, Dark Knight's great, and then the third one with Bane is good too. But nothing's like Dark Knight. Shout out Heath Ledger.
Nothing like Dark Knight. Another one that's really interesting for me, and I feel like I've matured also as I've gotten older. I used to think a really good movie was Cars 2, actually, for some reason. I thought Cars 2, wow, they go international, Lightning McQueen, they do all this cool spy stuff. And since I've rewatched it, actually, and I've realized Cars 1, way better.
Way better, man. Was Cars 2 like that was the spy stuff?
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Yeah, it was terrible. You know what? You know what's really good? Probably maybe the best sequel of all time. I know Godfather's up there too. The Empire Strikes Back. George Lucas in 1977 comes out with the banger that's called Star Wars, right? Everybody's like, "Oh my God." And then he comes back in 1980. He says, "I'll do you one better. I'll throw you Hoth. I'll throw you Vader and Luke. I'll throw you Cloud City. I'll throw you Lando Calrissian." I mean, my goodness, that's probably one of the best movies of all time.
The Hoth sequences when he goes and cuts himself and he like cuts that animal, I don't even know what that is, and crawls inside. That's one of the craziest things. The carbon freezing. Oh, it's a fantastic movie. Look, Jones, where do you land on Shrek? Because for me, I'm big Shrek 1. But I know you have before said that you like Shrek 2.
We've talked about this a lot, and I'm one of the biggest Shrek fans that you'll find out there. People often compare me to Shrek. I think it's a good player comp. I love the first one. The first one obviously has so much sentimental meaning to me. Watch it with my family so many times. But the second one, man, the meet the parents, go to Fiona's kingdom, all that whole storyline. You know, when the dad dies and stuff, like, oh, so emotional. The fairy godmother. I love the second Shrek. Could be better than the first. Not saying it is.
Well, I was going to say the second one is the one where they have the fairy godmother and Prince Charming and all that stuff.
Correct.
Okay, now, I mean, it is a good one, but I still got to stick with Shrek 1. Donkey in that, oh my God, one of the best characters of all time. Shrek on his little journey meets Fiona. They got Lord Farquaad. Lord Farquaad's not even in number 2. How can you have an amazing movie without Lord Farquaad, Jones?
He is an iconic character. Now, let me throw another one at you. Toy Story 2, man. And again, love Toy Story 1. And some people say that Toy Story 3 is the GOAT. We're not even talking about a trequel or whatever you would call it.
I think a trilogy.
I'm sorry, trilogy. But the second one is so good with the guy with the cheesy fingers and he's living across the street. And you have that love story with Woody. And obviously he ends up with Bo Peep in the end. If I'm giving anything away, I apologize. But he has that love story with, what's her name? Annie, I believe. And you have that whole, and Buzz's dad, like the Darth Vader type figure. That movie's so good. That action sequence on the elevator is one of the best things of ever.
2 is good. I think a lot of movies, when they come out with the second and are better, where they kind of lose me is when they bring out the third and the fourth. I know people say 3 is great. I thought 4 was terrible of Toy Story. And there's a lot of movies like that. Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones, where, you know, at first it can be good. Rocky, I'd also say as well. But it kind of deteriorates as we get along. Jones, really quickly, I know we're running out of time. What are your thoughts on the Godfather issue? Let's hear it. 1 or 2.
It's so hard. I love Marlon Brando. So from an iconic character standpoint, even more than Pacino and De Niro, I have to go with Brando. But in terms of overall storyline, gotta be 2.
I would tend to say that 2 is maybe a better film, technically. And I think that, yeah, it's great. Cazale, De Niro, Pacino, all these guys are putting in amazing performances, but one is just so enjoyable to watch. You're watching the family. You just feel like you're a part of that family, and it's one of the most enjoyable, fun movies to watch, even though it's really fucked up and it's about people killing each other. Yeah.
Well, a lot of movies are, and one that certainly involves that too is Indiana Jones 2, The Temple of Doom, which would fall into the prequel category. It happens before the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark. But I think, although Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of my favorite films, Eli, I think Temple of Doom could be even better.
It's worth a shout. And really quickly, last thing I want to say, honorable mention, Monsters University. Love that movie. One of my favorites of all time. Better than Monsters, Inc.
Well, this has been Gimme Five with Jones and Eli. A reminder to follow us on Instagram and TikTok if you want a chance to suggest our next pod topic. I don't know where I'm going with this. Eli, thanks for talking.
Always a pleasure, Jones. Talk to you soon.